Hello and welcome. Namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz on assuming office and reaffirmed commitment to further strengthen the strategic partnership, expressing a united stand against terrorism. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri briefed MPs' delegations before their global diplomatic outreach mission to present India's stance against cross-border terrorism. 59 leaders will visit 32 countries in the coming days. And Russia asserts it never responds to ultimatums in face of fresh UK and EU sanctions, says it's up to Ukraine now to discuss a memorandum ahead of a future peace accord Moscow has proposed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and exchanged views on regional and global developments. Prime Minister Modi wrote on X, and I quote, "Spoke to Chancellor Friedrich Merz and congratulated him on assuming office. Reaffirmed our commitment to further strengthen the strategic partnership between India and Germany. Exchanged views on regional and global developments. We stand united in the fight against terrorism." And the PM addressed the 78th session of the World Health Assembly in Geneva today through a video link. The PM highlighted Ayushman Bharat, the world's largest health insurance scheme, which covers 580 million people and provides free treatment.
The future of a healthy world depends on inclusion, integrated vision, and collaboration. Friends, inclusion is at the core of India's health reforms. We run Ayushman Bharat, the world's largest health insurance scheme. It covers 580 million people and provides free treatment. This program was recently extended to cover all Indians above the age of 70 years.
And speaking about the 11th International Day of Yoga in June under the theme Yoga for One Earth, One Health, the Prime Minister extended an invitation to all the countries.
In June, the 11th International Day of Yoga is coming up. This year, the theme is Yoga for One Earth, One Health. Being from the nation which gave yoga to the world, I invite all countries to participate.
And the Prime Minister also extended his congratulations to the World Health Organization and all member states on the successful negotiations of the INB Treaty, describing it as a shared commitment to fight future pandemics.
I congratulate the WHO and all member states on the successful negotiations of the INB Treaty. It is a shared commitment to fight future pandemics with greater cooperation. While building a healthy planet, let us ensure that no one is left behind.
Now, members of the World Health Organization formally adopted a landmark agreement on Tuesday on how to prepare for future pandemics following the COVID-19 outbreak. After 3 years of negotiations, the legally binding pact has been adopted by the World Health Assembly in Geneva. The pact was welcomed by all member countries. They voted emphatically in favor of the treaty at the 78th World Health Assembly in Geneva. No country voted against, while 11 nations including Poland, Israel, Italy, Russia, Slovakia and Iran abstained. It is only the second legally binding agreement to be adopted in the WHO's history after the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control in 2023. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri has briefed 3 of the 7 all-party delegations being sent out abroad as part of India's diplomatic outreach related to Operation Sindoor. The all-party delegations will soon engage with various countries to present India's firm stance on counter-terrorism and Operation Sindoor following the Pahalgam terror attack that killed 26 civilians. This campaign aims to counter Pakistan's attempts to overshadow terrorism while prioritizing Kashmir in international discussions.
कल हमारा दल निकलेगा यूएई और वेस्ट अफ्रीका के लिए माननीय मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में। ये डेलीगेशन सातों के साथ डेलीगेशन अलग अलग देशों में जा रहे हैं। हमारा स्टैंड टेररिज्म पे क्या है, किस प्रकार से इतने सालों तक भारत जो टेररिज्म के खिलाफ लड़ रहा है, उसके बारे में यहाँ पर ब्रीफिंग की गई।
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who is currently on an official visit to the Netherlands, called on its Prime Minister Dick Schoof in The Hague. During his meeting, Dr. Jaishankar conveyed warm greetings of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and thanked Prime Minister Schoof for Netherlands' firm and resolute stance against terrorism. Dr. Jaishankar also appreciated his commitment to taking the India-Netherlands partnership to newer heights and assured that the teams will work hard to achieve these goals. And earlier, the External Affairs Minister interacted with representatives of the Indian community in the Netherlands. While interacting with the Indian diaspora, Dr. Jaishankar highlighted the contribution of the community to building a stronger relationship between India and the Netherlands. And Dr. Jaishankar also met Defence Minister Ruben Berkelmans in The Hague. During that meeting, both the leaders exchanged views on respective security perspectives and challenges. They also spoke about the benefits of forging a bilateral defence partnership. And while meeting with his Netherlands counterpart, Caspar Veldkamp, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar appreciated the Netherlands' strong commitment to condemnation of the Pahalgam terror attack and support for zero tolerance against terrorism. Both the leaders had wide-ranging discussions on deepening bilateral partnership and engagement with the EU. They also exchanged views on the global situation in an era of multipolarity. And Dr. Jaishankar will also be paying an official visit to Denmark in Germany as part of this tour. Now, India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has held talks with US Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick to expedite the first tranche of the India-US bilateral trade agreement. An Indian delegation led by Piyush Goyal is in the US for talks over the trade deal. India and the US are intensifying discussions to finalize a scaled-down version of their bilateral trade agreement. On the 29th of April, the Commerce Ministry highlighted that both the nations are focusing on security early, mutual gains as they move closer to concluding the agreement. Representatives of India's Department of Commerce and the Office of the US Trade Representative met in Washington last month as part of ongoing discussions on the India-US bilateral trade agreement. Now, the 8th meeting of the India-US Joint Working Group on Aircraft Carrier Technology Cooperation was organized in India from the 13th to the 16th of May. A 6-member US delegation headed by Rear Admiral K.C. Mouton visited various defense establishments in Delhi and Goa. During the meeting, the Rear Admiral Mouton highlighted the importance of the Joint Working Group and the progress it has made over the last 10 years. Both sides appreciated the remarkable work undertaken by the Joint Working Group towards valuable information exchange on aircraft carriers. Union Minister Jitendra Singh said that the Indian economy will be driven by startups as he addressed the CSIR Startup Conclave in 2025 in Mumbai. The MMS for Science and Technology added that people did not know about startups when Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Startup India initiative in 2016. But today, the country has 145,000 registered startups. He also urged people to think about how they will do the value addition in the case of their startup product.
और आज 10 वर्षों में हम फ्रेजाइल 5 इकोनॉमी से टॉप 5 हो गए हमारा ग्लोबल इनोवेशन इंडेक्स 81 था, आज 39 हो गया। 49% of our startups today, परसों ही स्टैटिस्टिक्स देख रहा था, come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
India once again stepped forward with crucial humanitarian assistance for Afghan families who were forcibly expelled from Pakistan. The Taliban's Ministry of Refugees and Repatriation announced that India has delivered essential food aid to 5,000 Afghan families who were expelled from Pakistan. The aid package, consisting of 11 different food items, was distributed to families deemed most in need. The Taliban's Minister Abdul Kabir expressed gratitude to both the government and the people of India for their continued support. He said that India's help has come at a time when our people are facing extreme hardship. Recently, Pakistan intensified its mass deportation of Afghan refugees and migrants. According to the United Nations, Pakistan has deported more than 19,500 Afghans in the months of April this year. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Keir Starmer declares Britain back on the world stage after a landmark trade deal. The US cuts another $60 million in grants to Harvard University. And Kitami Srikank as well PV Sindhu will lead India's challenge at the Malaysia Masters Badminton Tournament on Wednesday. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said on Tuesday that Britain is back on the world stage following new trade agreements with the EU, US and India. The UK and EU signed a deal on Monday that will significantly reduce paperwork and border checks on plant and animal products, easing trade while upholding food standards. However, the agreement has drawn sharp criticism over its fishing terms. Under the deal, the UK and EU vessels will retain access to each other's waters for the next 12 years.
The principles we took into the negotiations are clear and simple. Does it drive down bills? Does it drive up jobs? Does it strengthen our borders? And in each case, the answer is resoundingly yes. These deals release us from the tired arguments of the past and, as an independent sovereign nation, allow us to seize the opportunities of the future. A clear message sent across the globe that Britain is back on the world stage. Once again, backing British business.
Rather upbeat Keir Starmer there now. Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has criticized US demands in nuclear negotiations as excessive and outrageous, casting doubt on the prospects of reaching a deal. The talks US and Iran remain uncertain amid a standoff over uranium enrichment, which Iran insists is for peaceful purposes. Despite reports that a fifth round of negotiations could take place in Rome, no breakthrough is in sight.
Indirect negotiations existed back then in Raisi's time too, but there was no result, and I don't think will bring result now. Who knows? The American side that is participating in these indirect negotiations should try not to talk nonsense. We will now allow Iran to enrich uranium is a major overstep. No one is waiting for permission.
Now, the European Union on Tuesday formally adopted a new round of sanctions on Russia, targeting its shadow fleet of oil tankers, and threatened more punishment for Moscow for not agreeing to a Ukraine truce. The 17 sanction package includes blacklisting nearly 200 more tankers in Russia's shadow fleet in a bid to curtail Moscow's ability to export oil. It also included imposing asset freeze and visa bans on dozens more Russian officials. The latest sanctions against the Kremlin have been in the pipeline for weeks and were already approved by the EU countries last week. The bloc also signaled 18th package, which is being prepared with further hard-hitting measures.
I think it is important, as we have all said, 27 of us, that there has to be full and unconditional ceasefire. Ukraine has already agreed to this 60 days or more than 60 days ago, and we have agreed that if Russia does not agree, what we saw yesterday, then we will put more pressures.
And reacting to EU sanctions, Russia's foreign ministry said that Russia never responds to ultimatums. Russia also said that Ukraine had to decide whether or not it would cooperate in discussing a memorandum ahead of a potential future peace accord. Moscow said that discussions on the memorandum would include the principles of a settlement and the timing and definitions of a possible ceasefire, including its time frame.
Russia never responds to ultimatums. We have never refused to hold talks, and we are ready to continue such contacts with the Ukrainian side. Now the ball is in Kiev's court. While moving towards settlement of the conflict, it should be understood that it is impossible to achieve this goal without elimination of its root causes.
Now, Germany has expressed willingness to heed the call from US President Donald Trump for increased defense expenditure among NATO member states. Following a meeting with his US counterpart at a NATO foreign ministers gathering in Turkey, German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephol stated that Berlin is prepared to follow the demand and raise its military spending. Currently, NATO members are committed to spending at least 2% of their GDP on defense. However, Wadephol indicated that Germany acknowledges in principle the push to increase that figure to 5%. Wadepol's comments came a day after German Chancellor Friedrich Merz announced that he wanted to transform the German army into the strongest conventional army in Europe. The United States Department of Health and Human Services has announced the termination of approximately $60 million in federal grants to Harvard University, further intensifying tensions between the Ivy League institution and President Trump's administration. The decision comes amid ongoing disputes over allegations of anti-Semitism and debates over the limits of academic freedom. In a statement posted on social media platform X, the department cited Harvard's continued failure to address anti-Semitic harassment and race discrimination as the primary reason for revoking multiple multi-year grant awards. And now it's time to get to some weather updates as well, where India's weather department on Tuesday said heavy to very heavy rainfall is expected over the western coastal states including Karnataka, Goa and Kerala and the adjoining peninsula region till the 25th of May, with extremely heavy rainfall expected today over Karnataka as well as tomorrow. And India's weather department has issued a red alert for Karnataka as more rain is forecast over the next 5 days in the state. A cyclonic circulation is persisting over the central Bay of Bengal and another system is expected to form near the Karnataka coast by the 21st of this month. This system may develop into a low pressure area by the 22nd, likely intensifying rainfall across Tamil Nadu. The IMD has issued a warning for heavy to very heavy rainfall across Tamil Nadu over the next 5 days due to multiple weather systems. Since the onset of pre-monsoon season, Tamil Nadu has received 90% more rainfall than usual, with Chennai recording 83% excessive. Now, there's an orange alert that's been issued for several districts in Kerala, warning of heavy rainfall and the possibility of flooding. Northern parts of Kerala are expected to experience heavy rainfall to the 23rd of May, while the south and central parts will receive moderate rains. The IMD declared the monsoon's arrival in the Andaman Islands on the 13th of May, marking an advance of 10 days compared to the usual schedule. Now, as part of the Amrit Bharat Station scheme, 103 railway stations nationwide have been revamped and are set to be inaugurated. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate these stations virtually on the 22nd of May. Haibargaon railway station in Assam's Nagaon district, steeped in history since 1887, has been transformed with cutting-edge facilities. Located in the commercial hub of Haibargaon, the redevelopment of the station has been welcomed by the people of Nagaon. And Hyderabad residents have expressed happiness over the development of Begumpet railway station under the Amrit Bharat station scheme. The station, redeveloped at a cost of 26.55 crore rupees, has been transformed into a modern transit hub with advanced passenger amenities reflecting Telangana's rich heritage. The revamped station, handling around 100 trains daily, is set to be virtually inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi on the 22nd of May as part of the inauguration of 103 Amrit Bharat stations across India. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that the Indian Army has carried out Operation Sindoor with the precision of a surgeon by hitting the root cause of terror as he addressed the KNS Memorial Programme in Lucknow on Tuesday. He added that Pakistan got a befitting reply from the Indian Army. The Defence Minister also said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has resolved to make India a developed nation by 2047.
हमारी भारतीय सेनाओं ने एक कुशल डॉक्टर और सर्जन की तरह काम किया है। जैसे एक कुशल सर्जन जहां बीमारी की जड़ मौजूद होती है वहीं अपने औजारों का इस्तेमाल करता है, वैसे ही भारतीय सेनाओं ने भी बड़ी सटीकता के साथ आतंकवाद की जड़ों पर अपने हथियारों का इस्तेमाल किया है।
Let's get you some sporting updates as well. India shuttler Kidambi Srikanth has secured a spot in the main draw of the Malaysian Masters on Tuesday. Srikanth, who is making a comeback, defeated Chinese Taipei's Wang Yukai 9-21, 21-12 and 21-6 in the second qualifying match. The 2021 World Champions silver medalist had beaten another Taipei player, Ku Kuan Lin, in the first round. The former world number 1 will face a tough opponent, Liu Guangzhou of China, in the main draw on Wednesday. And two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu will also begin her campaign against Japan's Natsuki Nidaira on Wednesday. Sindhu skipped the Taipei Open and Thailand Open earlier this month. A quarter-final finish at the Indian Open in January remains her best finish this year. India's men's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty have dropped out of top 20 badminton rankings for the first time in 6 years. The Indian duo slipped out of the coveted group for the first time since May 2019 after the latest BWF world rankings were released. They are now placed at 25th position. The former world number 1 pair have been facing indifferent form since their quarterfinal exit from the Paris Olympics. In 2025, Ranki Reddy and Shetty have struggled with injuries and competed in only 5 tournaments so far. Their last appearance came at the All England Club, that is the All England Open Badminton Championships in March, where they retired midway after Shetty picked up an injury. India's Diya Chitale and Yashaswini Ghorpade have marched into the pre-quarterfinals of the women's doubles event at the World Table Tennis Championships finals in Doha. After dropping the first game, Chitale and Ghorpade fought back to beat Singapore's Zheng Xian 3-1. They will now face the Japanese pair of Miwaki Harimoto and Miyu Kihara in the next round. Harimoto was a part of the silver medal winning Japanese women's team at the Paris Olympics. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code and download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.